An enthralling opening race of a new generation for the Protyre Motorsport Ginetta GT Championship saw initially Hadley Simpson grab the lead from pole sitter Mike Taylor. Simpson held on to that advantage for much of the first half of the race, with Taylor actually slipping to third behind the charging Archie Clark. The former Ginetta Junior frontrunner was on a mission. There was drama further back for Harry Gamble. He tried the outside line into the chicane on Mike Taylor to take third, but to no avail, ended up bouncing through the gravel trap and losing a handful more positions. It was a very lively first part of the race for Gamble. At the very next corner, he got into the back of Nick White and sent the 57 car spinning. Nick would eventually charge back to finish inside the top 10. Then there was more drama. Cameron Pratt-Thompson lost the rear of the car through the chicane. He too found the gravel trap, but thankfully was able to continue on his way. And as Archie Clark was applying pressure to the leader and taking chunks out of the tyre stack at the chicane, the race lead was about to fall into his laps, as at exactly the same moment Hadley Simpson's car coasted to a halt, exiting the Melbourne hairpin. Car 37 appeared to be out of the race, but did then fire back up, having narrowly been avoided by the second place man Harry Gamble. There were some great battles going on further down the order. It all got a bit too much though in the end for Oliver Fordham, who survived the spin. It was a win though for Archie Clark overall in his first appearance in the Protyre Motorsport Ginetta GT Championship.
I'm chuffed to bits with the overall feel of the car. I didn't expect this in my sort of second season, but I'm super excited to feel on the pace. Double pole this weekend was obviously a massive result. I'm not a qualifier. Unfortunately, the race sort of threw me off a little bit with the jump start and then all the madness behind me, and it took me a few laps to find my rhythm. By then, I was settled into a third place that I couldn't recover from, so I'll do better next time.
You seem to close towards the end of the race, though. So obviously the pace is there in the car.
Yeah, I got 100%. The car's great. The team was solid. You know, the car's in fantastic shape. The bigger problem was my head. Once I calmed myself down and realised I can drive this car, the stewards will sort out any indiscrepancies at the end. I just got on with my job, and then I found pace, but it was too late.
Tomorrow's race is a bit different, 40 minutes with a pit stop, so how are you going to approach that?
I'm going to learn a lot from today. This has been a great start to the season. I've still come away with second in class, third overall, so I've got solid points, but I'm going to make better use of the hard work in qualifying and control the race better, and control my mind better. But yeah, 40 minutes gives me a lot more time to get over the first couple of laps nerves and really settle into a rhythm.
Yeah, it was good dice at the end. Mike was catching me at the end. I felt I had more pace at the start, but at the end the tyres were going really off. It's a shame with contact with Nick at the start. It's completely my fault, but yeah, I'll take that. First race of the season.
A bit hairy last lap?
Not really. I felt Mike was faster at the first sector, and then the last sector I felt I had a little bit on him, so yeah, I'm glad it was the last sector I had him, not the first. It's all a bit unknown really. 40 minutes on these tyres is going to be fun, and a pit stop, so yeah, it's like going into the unknown, but we'll sort it out.
I tried my best. I absolutely love the car. It's awesome, and I really enjoyed driving it, so I'm looking forward to the next race.
The next race this weekend is a bit different. It's a 40-minute race with a pit stop. How are you going to approach that?
Same again, try and do my best and go for the win.
Yeah, it was unexpected, to be fair. I'm really happy about it. The car's great. Raceway have done a good job of setting it up, so yeah, we're there or thereabouts. So just think a little bit more race pace, and tomorrow we'll go again.
Tomorrow's another challenge, 40 minutes and a pit stop. Something new again.
Yeah, it is new, and obviously I only did 1 year last year in GTA. I was a rookie, so that's like another step again. But we've learnt the slicks, we've learnt the traction, we've learnt the ABS, so why not learn some pit stops as well?
It is a big jump up from the GTA car. You know, there's quite a difference. Are you enjoying that challenge?
I prefer it, in all honesty. I mean, the aids are nice, even though we've had the raw car to start with. It builds on your sort of your understanding of the car, but the more power and the grip's phenomenal.
The first ever 40-minute pit stop race for the Protyre Motorsport Ginetta GT Championship certainly delivered the action. There was a 3-car incident at the start between Carl Garnett, Cameron Pratt-Thompson and Peter Mangan, which miraculously only took one of those drivers, Cameron Pratt-Thompson, out of the race. The others all able to continue. No safety car was needed though, and a very shuffled pack were able to continue doing battle. Nick White had broken into the race lead, and Robert Cronin from 5th on the grid was in 2nd place. Archie Clark, the race 1 winner, had some work to do. He was 4th after the first corner, but then steadily started moving his way up the order. First past Hadley Simpson, and then with another almost carbon copy move on the Craner curves against Robert Cronin. Dominic Paul was doing battle further back with Alex Duncan. These two would be tied together for much of the race. Duncan got through just before the pit window, but after the pit stops would find himself behind once again. Oliver Fordham found himself in the gravel at the old hairpin and amazingly was able to be dug back out without the necessity for a safety car. Archie Clark pitted a couple of laps before race leader Nick White, and by the time the pit stops were done, that extra time in clean air had netted him the race lead, with Hadley Simpson second, but only because he had spent too little time in the pit lane, something for which he was later penalised. Emma Tomlinson and Ali Jafali were doing battle for podium places in AM, but it was a Donington double for Archie Clark, who starts his season off in style.
The 40-minute race was a different thing for me, so I've never done one before with a pit stop as well, so that was all well done by the team. They're just perfect, everything just went really well, so I didn't really have to do anything, I just followed the lollipop.
It was a mammoth race, 40 minutes. You feel like you were okay with that longer race?
Yeah, I felt fine with it. I've been doing a bit of training, just running and things like that, but I was still a bit, after the 20-minute race yesterday, I was still a bit like, oh, will it be okay? But yeah, it was fine.
Move on to Silverstone now. You've gone well previously at Silverstone. Is it a circuit you enjoy?
I like Silverstone, yeah. We had a bit of an interesting race there in GTA last year in the rain, so we won't talk about that. That's a bit of PTSD, but apart from that, yeah, it should be good. I'll enjoy it.
You know, we knew we had good pace. You know, the sprint race didn't go our way, but I knew starting P3 we had a good chance and opened up for me on turn 1. Got my head down, got a good gap. Maybe just need a little brush up on the pit stops, and I think yeah, we should be in the hunt for an overall win soon.
You seem to lose out a little bit by going a little bit later with your pit stop.
Potentially, I knew how quick he was. I could see him closing down on me. I thought, I'm not going to stress about it. Let's just keep the pace I'm at. Don't want to make a mistake. Yeah, and I knew when he pitted before me, I thought he's going to go on a monster outlap to try to undercut me, which he must have nailed his pit stop as well. So you know, fair play, but it just goes to show you go under and you're 30-second penalty. So I'm pleased to come back in second and first in class.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the longer race, especially with a pit stop. It added like another level of strategy into trying to win the race, which I think we nailed, so I'm really happy with it.
You took the gamble and went early. Obviously, that helped you to get the cut back on to Nick.
Yeah, I'm glad we did, because it clearly worked well, so I'm happy we did.
Now move on to, after a brilliant weekend for yourself, to Silverstone next.
Yeah, I love Silverstone, so I'm really looking forward to it, especially on the GP track. I think it's going to be great.
Mike, 2025, a brand new season, another bumper season for Ginetta. It's looking exciting.
It is, you know, here Donington, sun shining, got all Ginetta Motorsport in full show, and it's our 20th year of British championships run by Lawrence Tomlinson, and we've gone from strength to strength, and you know, we are the stalwarts of British motor racing. We've got the biggest support grids here, our largest ever grids ever, and yeah, you know, everything is perfect. It is that the factory's working so hard to keep everybody on track, whether it's part production, servicing, rules, regulations, hospitality. You know, we're really putting a show on, and you know, customers are seeing that and wanting to come motor racing with us, which is really special. We've been very upfront and honest with our main things we wanted to achieve. First thing is reducing cost. Everybody's parts are reduced. Nobody's doing that in this climate. We've made some upgrades to the cars for reliability and maintainability to help the teams, and support. You know, whether it's social media, technical, commercial. You know, we're there for the clients, and we're going from strength to strength. And the GT Pro class we had just wasn't quite right. It wasn't exciting enough. Wasn't a big enough jump from the GTA, so we launched the GT P8, and you know, it's a tough market, but we've done it. We sold all the cars; they're all here. There's 2 customers who've decided not to race this weekend, but the cars were delivered. They'll be joining later in the year, and it's a special car. You know, it's a thunderous V8. It's a GT4 car, really, just less a few components, and it's fast. And as a single make series, it's super exciting, and the team's done a great job, the drivers, and that will become one of the best series, I think, worldwide. I've already sold a batch of cars for the US, and it's, you know, for a spec series of that performance, that quality, at the price people are paying, it's unrivaled. It really is. whether you're an internal member of staff at Ginetta or a driver or a team, we want you to progress. So again, doing sprint racing is relevant as a junior or in the academy, but then for the next level of tier, you're progressing towards endurance and British GT. So it made perfect sense to us. The writing was on the wall. We need to have a feature endurance race. So the first time Ginetta's ever done it internally, we're having a pit stop race. There's no driver changing, but it's measured line to line. There's roughly 60 seconds the car's got to sit there in a 10-minute pit window. So it gives teams a bit of strategy. If you're in a pack of cars, can you undercut and take an advantage on a clear bit of track? And there's a lot of rules and processes that you have to learn on how to do a pit stop, and it's all about preparation for British GT. And I fully expect there'll be 5, maybe more drivers will naturally take their cars, upgrade them to homologated GT cars, which we can, and they'll be on the British GT grid next year. So it's that vertical integration that we do at Ginetta of getting people in, and that step-by-step ladder to the next thing. And we're working well with Stefan and the SRO group, and yeah, you've been around a long time, but we feel fresh-faced and ready for the challenge.